I should probably just take my money and light it on fire in the street, but it's a lot more fun to make these billboards that have the quotes of my guests on them.
Welcome to Noah Kagan Presents.
What's up, everyone? Noah Kagan. Today's chat was really fun. It was with your boy, T. Ferriss, Tim. I met Tim about 1,500 years ago because the guy is bionic. He's filled with so many supplements. The dude's going to live probably till forever. I met him a long time ago through a friend. And so I wanted to do a chat with Tim about his new book. If you haven't gotten Tools of the Titans, go get it. And so I wanted to do a brief chat with him. It's a quick episode. And I wanted to ask the questions that no one asks. I wanted to ask about being bald. That's a weird-ass subject to ask, let me tell you, to have that convertible look. I wanted to talk to him about what a book launch was. Like, how did he spend 6 figures on buying a bunch of billboards and what that experience was like. It's a quick chat. It's a fun chat. Enjoy it and have a good time.
Hello, Mr. Ferriss. What's up, dog?
Hello, sir.
So you were ordering Bulgarian tea? Or Bulgarian to get you Bulgarian?
Technically, I was ordering around the crazy Bulgarian as I'm trying to make him known on the internet to get me some tea.
Okay.
I flew in a researcher from Montreal who happens to be Bulgarian Siberian to help me with many things related to this whole book craziness that is going on.
How many hours are you sleeping during a book launch?
Very few generally. I'm not killing myself every day, but today, for instance, because it's a Friday, I knew I could pack it in. I started at 1 a.m., so I didn't sleep last night, and then I had coast-to-coast radio for 2 hours from 1 to 3 a.m., took a 90-minute nap, woke up, got into a car, went to Squawk Box at CNBC, and have just been pounding the pavement. So it's a different schedule than usual, for sure. There are many things that help, like L-taurine, and I've got a whole slew of supplements. When I'm going from gig to gig, my bag's basically half full of drugs.
I was just going to go on like this whole narcotic stuff rant, but we won't do that. So here's what we're going to do today, everyone. Tim's got 30 minutes because he's got to go talk to Obama. Then I think Trump was texting you. And then I don't know, Oprah's like, oh, Tim, let's like do a Snapchat session or some shit, I'm guessing, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, Obama and Trump and I are going to play a game of horse later. Shoot some hoops. I'm kidding. No, not likely.
I hope you are, because if you weren't kidding, that'd be awesome. So here's what we're going to do, everyone. Tim's here for 30 minutes. I've got 15 minutes of questions. You guys post all your questions in the questions box. It's going to be in the bottom right-hand corner. Tim will answer as many as he can, and then he's got to go run off to say what's up to B, Obama, maybe Beyonce. I don't know. Let's see if Kanye is okay. All right, so Tim, I've come up with questions you've never answered before. I've known you 12 years, dude, or not way too long, but long. So these
we're both working on the upside down face look, like the facial hair inversion.
Well, I'm balding, right? So I'm going for that convertible look. I've got the convertible going. So I'm gonna buy spray paint. I'm gonna buy some spray paint and just kind of get that in there. But anyways, all right. So Tim, when did you start like losing your hair?
Well, it was quite a while ago when it started. I remember it was about 2005, and I remember this specifically because I was doing some type of sports with someone in Germany, of all places. This is before the 4-hour work week, and somebody took a photograph of me, and I was like, what? I'd never seen kind of the back of my head from that angle.
Oh,
so it's been a long time coming. It's been a slow creep.
And then how do you deal with that? I know for myself, it's been one of my biggest when I'm self-conscious about it. I don't know. How have you dealt with that?
It was self-conscious, or I was self-conscious about it until I just decided, a few things. I think that men generally care about it because of women, let's be honest. And I was like, okay, well, let me just double down on going to the gym, double down on trying not to sound like an idiot. And the women that I actually want to spend time with are not really going to give a rat's ass about convertible or not. And that's been my approach to at least my self-talk. So I'm okay with it. Of all the things that could go wrong, it's like, all right, join at least half of the male population on the planet. I'm okay with it.
I'm honestly now I'm a discriminator too, dude. I discriminate with people with hair. I'm like, you're a hairist, so like you disgust me. All you hairy people with that stuff up top. All right, I got lightning. It's not even lightning. It's just quick questions, really fun. You're gonna have a good time. So you're in I just got back from Mexico last night. If you're in a Mexican jail, who's the first person you call?
Probably Jocko Willink, retired Navy SEAL commander who has been on the podcast. And there are a handful. I'll try to keep this short, but I actually have a list I'm not kidding, of sort of 5 or 6 people in an escalation plan. So when I'm dating someone, I say, this is the get Tim out of Mexican jail call list. I'm completely serious. So Jocko would probably be on that list.
Why Jocko?
Most certainly. Well, because I feel like Jocko, if it came down to it, like if diplomacy failed, he might be able to organize some type of private militia to get in a black helicopter and extract me. So I would say worst case scenario, I want the guy who knows how to bring the thunder.
I'll dig it. I dig it. What's on your home screen? I'm curious. Do you have anything on your home screen or your lock screen of your phone?
Yeah.
You might have something kind of weird.
Oh, I do. Let me just
clear all the texts and tweets and all that.
Let me get all these incriminating tweets off.
Well, and then I ask that is because I find like myself, like I have sorry, I have this.
Here you go. Oh, that's not it. Hold on a second.
Well, I just think it's interesting. I put like motivational stuff on my home screen, so I don't know if you do something similar or what you have. I was curious.
Yeah, I do. Coyote.
The coyote
on my screen.
Is that your spirit animal? I think
it is. Yeah, and people can look into. I don't explain it though, so people can look into trickster god mythology, like the raven and coyote, for why that is my spirit animal. There are other reasons that get out into some crazy land real fast, but I'll leave it at that.
Maybe. So we got there. Okay. Yeah. So it's Hanukkah is coming up. Christmas is coming up. Besides buying your book, which everyone should already have done, what's one thing you're going to buy someone? What's the one Hanukkah gift that we should get this year?
Yeah, this will sound weird. I'm going to get the Nayoya acupressure mat. There's a variation of it just called Bed of Nails. You can find both on Amazon.
I'm looking it up. You can see my screen.
It's a rollout mat. You can just look at Bed of Nails and you'll see it.
Right here.
It is. There it is, the top one. So it's effectively a rollout mat that has what appear to be golf cleats on it. That's the one. And it is painful, but it was recommended to me by one of the one-armed handstand prodigies of Cirque du Soleil. He used to use it in the Ukraine. And I tore my lat at one point, and I really, really had terrible pain in my back, could barely do anything. It hurt to cough. And this thing, for 5 minutes a day, is what got me back on track and into training faster than anything else. I thought, it looks it's certainly almost definitely made in China, like pretty much everything, but it has this very cheesy flea market type look to it, and it just works. It just works. So I'll be buying that actually today for a friend. I was planning on going on Amazon and grabbing it for somebody.
Nice. Favorite book this year besides your own?
First one that comes to mind is How to Get Filthy Rich in Rising Asia, which is an amazing short novel.
Yeah, that was good. So guys, check that out, How to Get Filthy Rich in Asia. What's different about this book versus all your others? What's been for you either creating it or promoting anything that stood out?
Yeah, this is the first book I've enjoyed, right? Number one, that's a big deal. And it is also kind of the first book that I wrote for myself. This was intended to be my notebook of high-impact cliff notes that I could refer to myself for years and years. So I put it together for myself and then decided to turn it into a book, but not the other way around.
Nice. What promotions and marketing for books have not worked for you? Because you've done 4 launches, all successful.
Yeah. I would say that Facebook Live has been super hit or miss, depending on how much muscle you can put behind it, like getting advertiser access so you can retarget, or having people boost reach because of how little organic reach you can have, say, on Facebook. So that's been very hit or miss. Instagram Stories, if you have the ability as a verified account to have somebody swipe up and click through, have just been unbelievably effective. I was shocked by that, which is why I wanted to mention it. I was just really surprised by how much click through. If
you guys didn't see Tim, I think on Snap, I don't know, one of these social places, you bought billboards in New York. How much did that cost?
Oh God, a lot. It was a lot, and this is one of those for shits and giggles kind of things, because it was a lot.
Okay, so
it was low six figures, and it's
for 6 billboards.
I should probably 80 plus billboards. I should probably just take my money and light it on fire in the street, but it's a lot more fun to make these billboards that have the quotes of my guests on them. Because the quote, or the question is, what would you put on a billboard? So I wanted, in a way, just to thank people for being on the podcast.
What do you think makes you stand apart? Do you think you just have a lot more persistence, your attention to detail, which to me is exceptional. I've never seen anyone like it. So many writers, so many books, what is different about you?
I don't think I'm the best writer. I think I'm a good teacher, and I think it's the details. I think it's I'm writing about stuff I actually give a shit about. So I'm driven to get the details, and then it's the super hyper specifics. It's like, what do you have for breakfast? Why? What did you try and reject? Why do you choose this order of exercises in your workout? What time? Why do you do it at the same time every day? All of these super specifics. The brand of taurine that you use. Why did you? Yeah, all of these super specific questions, I think, is why people gravitate towards it.
All right, now we're going to go through a few more fun personal ones. These are ones, so at our company at SumoMe, what we do is we have interrogations whenever we hire people. And as well, when we do our team retreats, we do interrogations. So the questions are pretty out there. All right, this is you have to choose mom or dad. One of them's going to die. Who do you keep?
Oh, God.
You're like, where's Oprah?
My dad would probably volunteer, so I'll take my dad to save mom. So there we go.
Save mom. All right. Which guest on your podcast was the hardest for you to get?
Hardest for me to get, probably Jamie Foxx. That took 1.5 years. So turned out well, but it took about 1.5 years.
Who's the next guest that you'll put 1.5 years into getting?
Oprah or Neil Gaiman. I've probably already put 1.5 years into Neil Gaiman, so that's TBD. And it's not like he said no. He said no, not right now. I'm not doing any media to focus on writing, etc. So I would say the writer Neil Gaiman, and then the queen bee Oprah.
It's so interesting because so many people like myself or anybody out there is like, oh, look at the stuff that he just texted Jamie, what's up, man? Let's do it. But I don't think they realize you put in 1.5 years to actually get that created.
Oh, yeah.
And no one ever. Yeah. How'd you get your name? Why did your parents choose Tim?
I honestly don't know. I think they just like the sound of it. It's a biblical name, Timothy. It's a type of grass. I don't think that's why they chose it.
I didn't know.
I wish I had. It's like a name, or I liked him, but like Gideon. Like, oh yes, it means the protector. Like, oh, how cool to be able to say that. But I think they were just like, okay, yeah, I think this embryo is a Tim. Let's go with that.
Do you have any nicknames growing up?
Tuna fish. When I was a tiny kid. When I was an infant, because I went from really small preemie to extremely fat, and I was just a voracious breastfeeder. Still am. I'm kidding. And I couldn't turn over myself, so I was just kind of like splayed out on my back like a fish. And my eyes had some muscular issues, so they went in opposite directions. They went out to the sides. So tuna fish.
I give you $1 million today. And you have to spend it like Brewster's Million, 24 hours. You get $1 million. What are you going to do?
You know what? I would divvy it up into 20s, give it to people since 24 hours in New York City, with probably my fans, with the obligation that they give it to someone else. Ooh. Or pay for something for someone else.
So what is that? $1 million? Let me see, divided by 20. 50,000 people. Not too bad. That's like one block of New York.
That's doable. Yeah, it's doable.
What's the worst investment you've ever made?
Oh, that's a long list. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I got one. No offense to these people if they're watching. I doubt they are. A startup called Badongo. I kid you not. It was a file sharing service out of Taiwan, I want to say. That was my first or second ever startup investment, and I got so excited about it for a slew of reasons that are totally ridiculous. I think it was my first real investment, 50 grand, immediate crater, just immediate implosion. So that's the first that comes to mind.
What was the last time you were nervous and or cried?
Cried was probably on some large dose of psychedelics, which is 2 of the longest chapters in the books. That was probably about 6 months ago. I don't cry much. Probably should do it more. I think it'd be good for my health. Nervous would be doing the Dr. Oz show just a couple days ago. I always get nervous with that stuff. That was a 15-minute segment. That's a lot of stuff to remember. So I also at Dr. Oz, doing the TV show with Mehmet Oz.
Oh, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, 15-minute segment is a long time. You have to be like beat, and hit all your marks. So I was nervous about that because it's not how my mind operates.
If single or taken, people want to know, Tim. In between.
Saken. I'm Saken.
I think you sent an email today, but like, what's your breakfast routine these days?
Breakfast routine right now is actually during launch is probably going to be either, and I'm rotating, exogenous ketones, like a powder. There's a product called Prove It, Pruvit, that I'm liking these days.
Prove It.
I eat very little because I have to hit the ground running right away. Or Isopure protein. It's just an easy to consume whey protein, ready to drink in the mornings.
So if let's say you become Jason Bourne and you have amnesia and you have to start your whole life over tomorrow, what do you think you would
Okay.
do? This is what people are asking. So I was watching Jason Bourne last
Uh,
night. So
well, if I woke up tomorrow and had amnesia, I would probably I'd probably walk to the Gap store across the street here in New York City and get a job. I have no idea, folding T-shirts or something, because I wouldn't know what I was able to do. I would have no idea. That's probably where I'd start, because there would be attractive women in the Gap store.
So we met originally, and I sent out my email, which was like you were in Argentina traveling, surfing in Brazil, something like that. If you if you had to move to one city and you could never leave, which city in the world would you live in?
Probably San Francisco. I mean, I've been there for a long time for a reason. It's one of my favorite cities, and you have access to just about everything. So I would go with San Francisco. If I couldn't choose that, I would probably choose New York City.
New York City. All right, we're gonna go to some more of the audience questions. Some of them are really bad. I might just do the worst ones and then just let people see
Sure.
what kind of answers you're gonna get out of those. Uh, a lot of people are asking. So the two common themes I'm seeing are like keto. Do you have any thoughts? Because we talked about it originally when we chatted on your show. Anything keto like interesting to you or boring to you about keto, or not give a fuck?
Well, I'll tell you what I think most people miss about keto, and that is, and why I still do, for instance, like today, a slow carb diet. I do it 90+% of the time. That keto is really binary. You can do the slow carb diet or even something like paleo 80, 90% correctly and see a lot of benefits. If you try to do keto and you only get it 90% right, you're going to do a lot of damage to yourself. If you have a super high fat diet and then you're consuming enough carbohydrates not to go into ketosis, you can really mess up your blood panels and I think your health in general. So keto is 0 or 1. You have to get it right, and to get it right is surprisingly tough, and it's extremely guaranteed to be boring. So I think that keto, for the maniacs out there who are super OCD and who are going to track things and do finger pricks for blood tests multiple times a day, it's compatible, and I think there's value in it. But otherwise, I'd say generally stick with something else. I still do both, but you have to be OCD to do it right.
To like stick in full ketosis.
Yeah. I mean, because you can knock yourself out with a single avocado. People don't realize it's like, oh, it's fat. No, it has about 10 to 12 grams of carbohydrates probably. You can't eat a whole avocado and stay in ketosis for most folks.
And a lot of people are asking about starting business stuff. Do you have any like? I hate a lot of those questions because they're not going to do anything you say. You're gonna be like, hey, here's actually what.
Yeah, I would just say keep it simple. Like, scratch your own itch and focus on 1,000 true fans. Don't pick 17 different social platforms to try to develop. Focus on something ideally you can monetize. And we've talked about this before, Noah, like an email list or a blog that's based on open source software like mine, WordPress, where you're not at the whim of some social network that may or may not exist 2 years from now. Right. So, but before you even look at those tools, it's like scratch your own itch, 1,000 true fans. That I think is, and category over incremental. So read the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, or at least the chapter, The Law of Category, which I actually excerpted and put in Tools of Titans for that reason.
You know, you said something. I saw you at Denver at 212. You were in and out, but you said something, and I just wanted to repeat it because it's actually stuck with me. And I think it's always funny when people say that what stuff sticks with them, and I'm like, dude, I don't even remember saying that shit. But you were saying like a lot of people are always like, how do I, meet people like you? How do I be around better people? And the thing you said is like, change your geography. And you hardly ever hear people talk about that. And I was like, oh, that's so fucking true. So actually next year I'm going to go live in San Francisco back for a month. Because I was like, yeah, I'm not around. Cool. Yeah, I'm just not around. Like, that's how we met. Because I was in the Bay working at Mint and you were starting your book. And I was like, yeah, let's just go grab coffee or whatever thing that is. But I'm in Austin, where it's an amazing city, but it's a little bit more in retirement mode. So for people out there, if you're like, oh, I really want to be, growing my business. I want to be growing personally. I want to going whatever way you want to grow. Possibly think about changing your geography. So I just wanted to reiterate that. I thought it was great.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if you're the average of the 5 people you associate with most, and you're taking that seriously, well, you could like fritter away hundreds of hours trying to make it work in a tough place, or you can take that number of hours, make a little extra money, and rent an Airbnb in San Francisco for a month, New York City for a month, pick your city for a month, and give it a shot. So I think that's very important, and the where of happiness too. That's another one, but that could take a long time to talk about.
So like where
people think about like what I should do, who I should be with, like what I should do, why I should do it. They think of all these whys and they forget the where.
So you have an assistant, and I've seen your assistant since the beginning. It seems like Donna's always been with you. Like, what secrets does she know if I did an interview with Donna?
Yeah. Uh, so
If I
Donna
kidnapped
gets,
Donna and I like was like, all right, now you got to tell me everything. What do you think?
yeah, if Donna gets to see the best and the worst of Tim Ferriss. So, what's really funny is when somebody sends like a really entitled, terrible pitch or something like that, and or they interview me for something and then they want me to do all the promotion for it. Like I have these certain pet peeves, and she can just tell when I'm about to lose it, especially in a week like this week where I'm on like 2 hours of sleep. And so she'll send something to me, but it's like almost with a little like smiley face emoticon, which she generally doesn't use, but because she'll send it and she knows that I'm gonna fucking lose it. So I would say the impatience triggers of Tim Ferriss, she would be able to give you
Talk
like
about
the
that.
cheat sheet. Yeah.
So, it's funny. I've been talking to people. I work with a person named Melody who's awesome in LA who helps me with a lot of my personal stuff. What is the most valuable things that Donna does for you? Like, what are the one or two things that you're like, man, I'm so fucking grateful that I have this virtual. She's not, well, she's a real assistant. She's just virtual.
Yeah. Yeah. She also lives in San Francisco, so I do see her a fair amount. The most valuable thing Donna does is not accept my requests at face value. And what I mean by that is if I'm running around like a chicken with its head cut off, like let's say this week, and I say, Donna, I really need you to do X because of Y. And she'll stop and she'll think about it and she'll say, okay, Tim wants this because he actually wants this outcome. And he's giving me a pretty mediocre suggestion for how to do it. I'm going to just take the initiative and do a better job than he's actually asking me to do. I will choose a better option. So in terms of travel planning, itinerary, deflecting people, protecting me from certain types of things, she's really good at thinking on her feet and improvising and improving upon my instructions. So I think that I actually got that advice once, but I think it was Reid Hoffman, billionaire, who's like, the way you can tell A players is they don't just take your instructions at face value.
That is awesome. Where'd you find her, by the way?
I found Donna through TaskRabbit, believe it or not. So I was using TaskRabbit. I'm one of the first advisors to TaskRabbit. Used them for years and years. Still use them. And I used her. She kept on just popping up, accepting my tasks. She didn't know who I was. And this happened to me 12 times. And I was like, "You're really good. Are you interested in doing a lot more hours?" And that's how it happened.
It's funny. The assistant I have, it's not, I feel so weird saying mine, like it's so possessive, but like the assistant I work with, she's in LA and I'm going to LA next week. And I was like, hey, can we meet in person? Because we're working together so much. And she's like, no. And then all my friends are joking how it's like actually an Indian guy, like in India. And I'm like, no, I see the photo. She's like an Asian woman and it says LA, but
That's so funny.
it's
Yeah, it might be. It might be. I had a team in the Philippines at one point who was working for me, but they told me they were in Montreal or something, and then they didn't get back to me for like 2 days. This is many years ago. They were late, and I said, "Well, guys, what happened?" And they go, "Sorry, the bridge was down in Manila and it took out the internet." And I was like, "Wait a minute." So yeah, you never know. Could be a very effective Indian guy.
the one thing that I was thinking about for this book, especially, and I think most people, if you haven't gone Bonnet, go Bonnet. I'm gonna make up new words today. Go get Tools of Titans. Tim's been nice enough to come hang out, and he's got a crazy fucking day. You normally have done in the past 3 books. I'm really into marketing. We've talked a lot about marketing over the years. You've done these massive, like, hey, we're gonna go fucking like we'll go to Mars, or we're gonna go like party in this like Ibiza together, do a lot of drugs together, whatever. Well, not drugs together, probably. So we'll do all these like herbal supplements together. So why didn't you do the big land rush thing? The big like, hey, if you buy 1 million books, like I'll call you or some shit like that.
Yeah, because there are a few reasons. Number one is that it is a massive headache. It is a massive headache, and you pay the tax of follow-up and customer service for, in some cases, 6 to 12 months afterwards. Like you've basically filled up your calendar for the next year with obligations. And that's part one. Part two is that after my experience with the 4-Hour Chef, I don't think we've actually talked about this, and I haven't really talked about it, so I try to keep it short. After the 4-Hour Chef, which I'm really proud of, but it was boycotted because it was published by Amazon, by everybody. I mean, Costco, Barnes & Noble, everybody boycotted it, and it was super tough, and I was really beholden to certain types of distribution and certain types of outlets for marketing. And so I decided 2 things. A, I'm going to get better at publishing my own books in certain ways, so I started practicing with audiobooks. And then secondly, I focused on building up the podcast and my email list so I'd be less dependent on outside sources. So I just feel like I've put in the work for the last 2 to 3 years with cultivating more hopefully good content and dedication from my fans. And so far it's paying off.
How do you get people? And I wonder, because I feel like the people that follow me and listen to me, they never do anything I say. I'm like, hey guys, can you do this? They're like, fuck you, Noah. I'm like, okay. But for somehow the Tim Ferriss fanatics, Ferrettian, I don't know what you call them, they do whatever you say. What do you do to get into these people's mindsets? And it's a positive thing to some extent, I think. Yeah. Like, how did you get people so committed to like following kind of your recommendations?
Well, I think that I try it all myself, and I'm super specific. So when someone tries, let's say, like the upside down fire, and they're like, oh my God, why has nobody ever told me about this before? This particular way of building fires that just lets fires burn for hours and hours and hours without you having to touch them. Then they're more inclined to listen to my advice about, say, breakfast, or if I help them lose 100 pounds. I mean, I met a guy at a book signing yesterday who lost, I think it was 150 pounds or more than 100. Then if I tell him, well, you should read 1,000 True Fans, and he reads that, and he's like, oh my God, this whole entrepreneurship thing doesn't have to be as complicated as I thought. It just leads from one to the next to the next. So I think that once you've built up that, and I also very, very rarely do explicit asks of my audience. Occasionally I will, but not very often. Usually it's just like, hey guys, here's this recommendation. I have no vested interest. I'm not involved with the company. Hope you enjoy it. So I think it's building that up over time.
I think one of the other things that you said in Denver too, which is really interesting. So I guess what you're really saying though is I have shitty recommendations.
Well, I think what I'm really saying is I don't believe that your fans don't listen to you, and that I know for a fact that they happen to. I'm flirting with you. I told you I wouldn't do this publicly. I know.
No, we've got 2 minutes. That's long enough for me. You know that. The one thing I just want to reiterate that you said in Denver too. I mean, it was funny. I was taking a bunch of notes. It's actually in this book right here. My little Noah moleskin.
Oh, cool! I love it.
Was around.
I have lots of notebooks too.
Got to write it down, man. It was around how shit. Oh, it was about how you give away so much stuff for free. So a lot of the things you're never like people, will ask for this and they ask and ask and ask, but you've actually on the opposite. And you said, and I thought you said it was really interesting about running a business, either do a bunch of little tiny transactions or give away everything free and then ask for something big at the end or ask for something way later. Like, how do you think about that?
Yeah. The way I think about it is free or ultra premium. That's it. So I don't do much in terms of selling products or anything in between, say, free. So 700 plus blog posts for free. I mean, thousands and thousands of pages, hundreds of podcasts for free, or ultra premium, where I'll do an event, let's just say for 200 people and charge $8,000 to $10,000 a seat, which I've done before. And of course, then you have to deliver. But I do free or ultra premium. I try not to do anything in the middle because there's too much competition. And
I love the way you think about that.
Yeah, for me, it works. Seems to work really well.
Two things, because we're out of time. Number one, can you walk me through your day from start to finish? Because I think for everyone here, especially myself, it's going to be. I think all these people are like, "Oh, I'd like to have this stuff. I'd like to have Tim's lifestyle." Or no, I don't think you know what it takes. And this is a guy who's already made it to some extent in terms of like, you don't need more money. You've got all the attention, but like, what is the day from 1 a.m. till the end of today? What does it look like? Do you have your calendar nearby?
Yeah, I do. So, all right. So I was up until, I didn't go to sleep really. So at midnight, I took an Uber to my publisher's offices. I went to the 9th floor, sat down with a landline, which was required for this, did Coast to Coast AM from 1 to 3 a.m.
Radio shows.
We had to prepare for that in a number of ways by providing them with talking points and potential questions and so on. Then I got picked up at, turns out, 5:50 a.m. at the apartment where I'm staying, went to Squawk Box, and that was it took an hour and a half, but there was only 5 minutes on television. That's the nature of television. Came back here, took some supplements, sprayed some zinc in my mouth, went down for the count for about 2.5 hours, woke up. We're doing this, of course, together. Then I'm doing a product hunt Q&A from 2 to 3. Then I'm getting immediately picked up in a car going to the 92nd Street YMCA in New York City, this gigantic venue, which has been months in the planning to both build out the program and to sell out. It's a 900-person venue. We're doing a arrival 4 o'clock, rehearsal from 4 to 5, and then we have a number of things planned. I'm going to be doing a bunch of other different projects and to-dos until we start letting people in around 6 o'clock. Start the program at 7. I'm doing a live podcast taping. There's 3 segments we had to plan. I have 5 guests coming, and that ends at 11 o'clock, at which point we then have an additional hour of VIP Q&A and cocktails in a separate venue. Then I come back here, probably do another 2 or 3 hours of damage control and cleanup, and then I face plant and sleep. Finally, I will reward myself because tomorrow is an off day, mostly off day. I'll take probably 12 hours of sleep and then wake up and hit the ground running.
So 24 to 36 hours, just like of hardcore, like very intentional work around promoting the book.
Yeah, I'm either on or I'm off, and
when you're on, you're on.
This is what on looks. This is what on looks like.
Well, I got 2 more things. I know you got to get going. You're tired. You have half an hour to get going. People are asking why no audiobook. That's just a real quick one.
Yeah. So audiobook, I'm going to, it's going to take at least 3 to 5 months, and it may be in the form of an app instead of an audiobook, because I want all of the guests' voices, like you, Nate, Noah, and other people, to be a part of it.
Cool.
Yeah, and that just takes a ton of production time. It just takes a lot of work. It's going to be extremely involved. So it's going to take months and months, guys. And honestly, you want the illustrations, you want a lot of the diagrams and so on in the print or the Kindle edition. They're very necessary and important for a lot of parts of the book. So I would say grab 1 or 2 of those formats.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy 10 books right now for people. And all I want you to do is tell me how Tim's, like either his podcast or any of his previous books have affected you. And Tim, just give me like 2 minutes. They're going to go crazy on this. Tell me all the things how you affect them. Because I think it's kind of cool to hear.
Yeah.
So, and I'll personally buy 10 books right now for just leave a comment in questions. I'm going to call a few out and then you can get out of here. I know you got to run around. So I'll buy 10. What I need you guys to do is post in the questions box how Tim's like 4-hour work week, 4-hour chef, 4-hour body. If you've already gotten Tools of the Titans or his podcast or something else has affected you, let me know how it's affected you. I'll buy you guys 10 people a book. You can give it away as a gift or for yourself if you don't have it already. All right. So now, it takes a second and then it just like.
Okay. You know what? For you, Noah, I love you.
Tim.
And we have. I can buy some time. I'll buy us some time right now. I'm going to text the Wizard of Oz and make some things. Make some things glide around.
So Gregory Pinowski, so you get a book. I feel like Oprah. You get a book. Gregory Pinowski lost weight and got a good job. Be a little more specific, Gregory. That kind of stuff makes it really, really more interesting for us to share that out loud for everyone else. Wow. Joey Korenman. He read 4-Hour Workweek in 2013. His Muse business did $1 million this year. He's living the goddamn dream. If Tim sold posters, I'd hang one in my bedroom. That's a fucking answer. All right.
Wow. I'll use a younger version with more of a coif.
Yeah. Tim,
that's awesome. Congratulations, man. That's amazing.
Dude, that's so crazy. Tim, we're going to get matching toupees, bro. Matching.
I'm in.
Joey, post your address. You're going to get a book. Ruben Metcalf, you posted. He said, holy shit, I lost 40 pounds in like 9 weeks on slow carb. No joke. That is badass. Ruben, post your address. I'm going to send you a book. Josh Leviton, I lost 20 pounds in 7 months. Went from 0 to 8 pull-ups, started meditating, and thinking about happiness and contentment versus accomplishment. Josh Leviton, post your address. I'm hooking you up. This one, Tyson Maines, 4-Hour Workweek has changed my life. I started my first business after reading it, and now I'm traveling the world just like Tim. Kathleen Kakuris, love the podcast. Help me be brave to be an entrepreneur. Awesome. Awesome. Now people are requesting Tim Ferriss posters. Narendra Mandadapu read The 4-Hour Chef and made a list of low-carb diet recipes, 50 pounds in 6 months. Did you hear?
That's a large toddler. That's significant work. That's good.
Did you hear more success stories from the 4-Hour Workweek or the 4-Hour Chef? Or Body, excuse me.
I hear, they're pretty evenly split. When people come up to me in person, they tend to often talk about the 4-Hour Body because they want to show me a before photo. That happens pretty often. But 4-Hour Workweek is still the mothership. That's had the biggest lead time in terms of advantage of when it was published.
Victoria C. read the 4-Hour Workweek, quit her corporate job 6 months ago, and she's putting in this in all caps. I quit my corporate job and started an online business, designing my life so that I can live and work anywhere. He's changed my life. It made me feel like anyone can do what I've done reading the book. Dude.
These are making my day, guys. Honestly, I've had a long day already, and this is exactly the fuel that I need. So thank you.
Dude, this is so cool. Pete McPherson. I know Pete. I've seen his name a bunch of times. He said the 4-hour work week taught me the opposite of what my parents taught me. Tim is your father. This is like Star Wars. I think you're basically like, Pete, you should change your last name to Ferriss because you're adopted.
Please don't do that, guys. Don't do that.
The thing is,
Kagan, on the other hand, I think is easier to spell. Go with Kagan.
Kagan works. Dude, this is awesome. So Emmerich Thorpe said, I spent $2,000 on myself to bring about a new experience that I would not otherwise have had based off his questions, which he knows. Cool. I don't even know what question, but that's awesome to hear. Dude, there's literally a lot of this. Holy moly. Stephen Kemp, 6 kilograms of muscles in 8 weeks for our body. Thanks, Tim.
That's a lot. That's 18 plus pounds right there.
Holy moly. This person keeps
Wait,
posting.
I can't do math. It's not 18 pounds. It's like 15. Sorry, 2.2.
That's still not too bad, man. Holy moly. One of my best friends, Eric Southwell, there's been 4 books to change his life, and he's like Tim Ferriss. And so then I was talking to you, and he's like, you know Tim? I'm like, yeah, I know Tim. I've known you a while. But anyway, so Eric Southwell literally changed his life, and now he's going to live Canary Islands. You ever heard of that place?
Oh yeah, for sure.
He met some
absolutely near Spain. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. So he met a girl on Tinder, and now he's moving there. And that's
wow.
Yeah. I was like, dude, you got to name the first kid Tim, second one Noah.
Or hyphenated. You could do Tim Noah. No Tim.
Like a Toa?
Noah Tim sounds better. Like The Secret of Nim. Nim.
Oh.
Use Nim.
If you had kids, or when you have kids, whatever, do you have names already thought of?
I like short Celtic names, or just short names in general, like Dorian. These sort of very, very short, in my mind at least, short names.
Yeah.
That's one that comes to mind. Cadence I like quite a lot for a girl.
Cadence.
I mean, it's not.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I like that.
It's a good one. I haven't thought of tons of these names. It's not something that I think about all too often. But when I find one, I'm like, oh, I like this name.
I think about it a lot, and I don't even have a girlfriend now. Anyways, I went to a sperm bank, so I figured like maybe those people will name it the names I want. Maybe last one.
Were you storing or donating?
Donating, because I'm creating an army.
Oh wow!
I'm creating an army, dude.
Okay. Good man.
So last one, I'm kicking you out. I'm kicking you out, dude.
All right.
But this is from Frank Fredericks. 4-hour work week enabled me to stop being overly busy consulting, reduce my work time to 4 hours, and then spend my time running a nonprofit, reaching 500,000 people. Now our team uses your strategy. P.S. Meatloaf did the trick too.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yes. Okay. So what that refers to, yeah, there's a meatloaf recipe in the 4-Hour Chef, and yeah, it has to do with sex and getting laid. But it's a hell of a recipe. So check it out. Meatloaf.
All right, guys. So if you haven't bought the book, go check out Tools of Titans. Tim, always good to see your sexy face. Get some rest. Yeah, guys, I'm sticking around for a little bit more, but make sure you go grab Tools of Titans. Thank you, Tim, for coming and hanging out. I hope it's one of your better chats and things that you're going on today. Give you a little more energy to go kick some more ass.
No, this is like, I'm glad to not have the usual 5 questions that I get ad nauseum. So thank you, Noah, and to everybody who showed up. Thanks so much. The feedback was great. I mean, this is the fuel I need for this particular day. Trust me. So thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. And if you want to see some sample chapters of Tools of Titans, you can just go to toolsoftitans.com. You can read the foreword by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So what is it? Toolsoftitans.com?
Yeah, you got it.
Boom.
And
so if you guys want free chapters, if you're like super cheap and you don't want to put up a few bucks, I have a copy. I gave one away. If you want to get a free sample chapter, toolsoftitans.com. Where do I sign up for the sample chapter, dude?
Oh, it's just it's the intro and forward on the nav bar. But honestly, I think this is the best book that I've done, and it's effectively the sequel to the 4-Hour Work Week, the 4-Hour Body, and the 4-Hour Chef, because it's broken into the 3 sections of healthy, wealthy, and wise. It's basically everything I've learned since those last 3 books came out in those 3 areas. So I hope people enjoy it. And either way, happy holidays and beyond to everybody listening, especially you, Noah. All right, man. Thanks very much. All right, bye-bye.
Well, that's a wrap. I really, 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 really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I want you to go text someone you love them and just be like, yo, I'm thinking of you right now. After that, write a review of the show or send it over to someone else that you think would really appreciate it. And then after that, go enjoy a taco. I know I eat tacos, I really did. I just had one again this morning. Feel free to tweet me any feedback. I love learning how to make every episode better in the future, and I want it to be fun for me, and I want it to be fun for you so that you're really getting something out of it too. So at Noah Kagan, Kagan, you can tweet, twat, whatever you want to do, let me know. And I love new episode ideas or ways I can make the show better. And you can find more about me at okdork.com. And the companies I help work at, which is appsumo.com, which is a Groupon for geeks, and sumome.com, which is free marketing tools for people who want to kick ass in their small business. Have a great day. Bye.